Good morning and welcome to All Abilities Homestead. This is Deb, and I thought I would give you a tour of my average day from a wheelchair doing everyday life. We'll start with the bathroom. The only thing modified here is that the door has been widened for me to get in to take a shower. I slide over onto the shower bench, and then once I'm showered and dressed, I head back to my bedroom to make my bed. My bedroom is in my art studio, or my art studio is in my bedroom, depending on how you want to look at it. I make my bed every day to keep the cats from getting under the covers. You'll see Myrtle is hanging out with me today. And I don't worry about it too much. I just tuck everything in and smooth it out. I'm reaching for my reacher right here that I use to get to the other side. I use reachers for everything. Picking up stuff off the floor, getting things out of kitchen cabinets. I have several of them and keep them around the house. My bed is pushed up against the bookcases over there because since I sleep alone, I don't have to worry about someone getting on that side. And then we'll go to my clothing. I always wear dresses. They're just easier to pull over my head. So when I find a style that's long enough, I go ahead and buy one in every color. My feet are deformed. I can't wear regular shoes. So I buy the same type of shoes. I found them, they're house shoes, but I think they look cute, so that's what I buy. They're called snoozies. And then this is a typical day of me putting on my makeup. I have wide-handled brushes and sponges that I use because it's hard for me to get a hold of the little makeup sponges. So I need something I can get my hand around. This is a colored primer, and I know it looks a little bit yellow, but when I put the next layer on it, it evens it out so it doesn't look so bad. Mostly this takes away from the red all over my face. I'm still experimenting, trying to find exactly the makeup. I'm by no means an expert cosmetologist. I just do what I have to do in order to get through the day. This is the foundation that goes on top of it, and you'll see what I mean about it kind of smoothing out. It's Bare Minerals is the brand. And now I don't look quite so yellow. Although I put the primer on to get rid of the red, and then I turn around and I put blush on to put back some of the red. So I don't know if there's a whole lot of logic there, but I just want the red where I want the red. Or pink. And this is my wonderful Jeffree Star makeup collection. My daughter got it for me because it had shades of purple, and I like purple. So, again, I have a long-handled brush because I have a hard time getting my hands up close enough to my face. And without my glasses on, I'm kind of flying blind here. Of course, putting eyeliners on is always fun, so I don't do liquid, I do powder. And I pray that it's straight. And then when I put my glasses on later, I find out if it's straight or not. I have seen people who got their eyeliner tattooed on, but I'm just not that brave to let them take a needle that close to my eyes. So, makeup done. Time to brush my hair. I've got a rubber grip on my hairbrush so that I can hold on to it better. I can't reach the back of my hair, so I can't really curl or do anything to it. I kind of just go with what I got. So then I'm gathering up kids and getting ready to run to the school to get my 13-year-old grandson enrolled for this year. This is Colin coming down the ramp first, and Archer is standing on the footplate, which is where they usually are. Almost every place I go, they're riding with me. So I'm trying to catch Colin here so he doesn't run off. You'll notice on my wheelchair that I have a little bag that a friend of mine made that's hanging, and I have my phone with a strap. My phone is always hanging there so that I don't get stranded anywhere, because I have had a wheelchair die on me in the middle of the kitchen where there was no phone anywhere close. You'll see I do have a van. I do drive. I'll do another video sometime of my van. But for today, we're just going across the street, so I didn't need to take my van. Now we're back home, and it's basically broccoli rice casserole, but my grandkids don't really like vegetables, and so I sneak in a whole lot of extra vegetables every place that I can. So once the cheese and the rice and everything is in there with it, you can't really notice the vegetables as much. So don't you dare tell them that they're in there. I throw in carrots, I throw in onion, I'm going to throw in some spinach as well. It's amazing what cheese can cover up to get kids to eat it. You'll notice that I'm working on a towel. I always work at the dining room table because it's lower than the kitchen counters, and nothing in my kitchen has been modified, so I can't reach the counters very well, or the stove or the oven. So over to the side, you can't see them in this shot, but I have a Ninja Foodie and a Ninja Speedy, and I do most of my cooking in those. This casserole will go in the oven, which is why I'm making it in advance, and I'll just put it in the refrigerator, and then later when it's dinner time, my daughter can stick it in the oven for me whenever she gets home. Both my daughter and son-in-law work full-time jobs, and I take care of my grandkids, which is the main reason I'm living here for now. At some point, I hope to move back to Alaska, but for right now, I'm here where my grandbabies are. But I keep a towel on the table, and it serves two purposes. Number one, if I spill anything, I don't have to run for paper towels or anything to clean up my mess because the towel will catch it. It also keeps the cutting board from moving around. And the most important part is if I drop something, it doesn't roll off the table or roll away from me. The towel keeps things right close to me. And I've learned that over the years because I do sometimes drop things, and it was getting really frustrating for it to hit the table and then bounce or roll away from me. So it's just my setup every time now when I cook. I spread a towel out, I put a cutting board down, and I work on the cutting board, whatever it is I'm doing. It's amazing how when you speed up the camera, it looks like I can chop really fast. I think really this took me twice as long as what this video looks like. And there's a red bowl over to the side that I'm putting all of those things in as I'm chopping them. Obviously, this is only my third video, so I'm still learning how to set up cameras. And I just ask you to give me a little grace until I figure it all out, to figure out how to get it all in the shots and make it look pretty. But you get the general idea. I'm rolling up the spinach here and chiffonading to get it into thinner pieces. If I'm being honest, I'll probably lie later and tell them that it's just parsley for color, because they will believe it. These are leeks that I had cleaned and washed earlier, and now I just add them to various dishes, and I just keep the bag in the refrigerator. We have a favorite dish called lemon leek pasta, and so that's what I originally bought it for, and then these are just left. So I add it to meatloaf and hamburger patties and anything else. I could get out the food processor and chop these things all up a whole lot finer, but if I'm completely honest, I'm just being lazy because I don't want to have to clean the food processor. and this is a whole lot easier. Um, on a note about my dresses that I wear, you'll notice that most of them have patterns because I tend to spill things. Sometimes things just slip out of my hands, and I've noticed that if I buy dresses with patterns, it doesn't show up as much. So the joke is you can't take me out in public because I spill my food. But but if I'm wearing a dress with a pattern, it's not as noticeable. I'm not sure if I mentioned it in previous videos, but I have juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, and because of that, the bottom part of my jaw did not grow in my childhood. So when I was 18, they had to rebuild my chin, basically. They did mandibular reconstruction. And because of that, I don't have feeling in my lower lip. So I can't tell when I'm eating or drinking something if I might be drooling a little bit. I have a tendency to constantly touch my bottom lip to make sure that I'm not drooling. But so I'm really self-conscious in restaurants because I don't want to make a mess and have people staring at me. I'm switching to the bigger spatula to stir with because there's a lot of vegetables to get mixed in there. And that's my pretty red bowl. It's shaped like a heart, but you can't tell that from this angle. I have heart-shaped plates too that I use whenever I fix the Valentine's stuff for my grandkids. Getting the last little bit out of there. And then we'll smooth it all out. Again, I could have tipped the camera down better to be able to see, and I think I finally figured that out. So lots of veggies in there, but now we're going to cover it with cheese. And when that cheese melted, it made a little blanket all over the top. I'd like to be able to show you what it looked like. However, when it came out of the oven, it was jumped on pretty fast, and I didn't get a picture. So that's taken care of. Now I'm starting lunch, and I'm just using up leftovers from the previous night. I had made tacos, and so we took the meat and the beans from the tacos, and I'm going to spread it on these tortillas. It's one of my grandkids' favorite things, and so it's a quick and easy lunch other than grilled cheese sandwiches. That's the beans and the meat are in that cup, and I'm kind of stirring them up. And then I spread them out on each of the tortillas. You see that one has more beans than meat, so I'll have to go back in there and get more of the meat. You'll see that I've got veggies hidden in the meat there too, so again, don't tell my grandkids. There's peppers and onions and carrots. And what else did I put in there? That might have been all the vegetables that I put in that batch. But then you add the cheese, and again, covers up the veggies, and they don't know. So then I roll them up good and tight. And when I back away, what I'm actually doing is putting them in my Ninja Speedy air fryer. And I just line them all up next to each other. So, yeah, I'm going to have to learn quite a bit more about videos and where to set the cameras up to be able to get it. but I'll just keep working through. I made 4 of them. I have 3 grandsons, but one of my grandsons is 13, so he gets hungry. He's fixing to hit a growth spurt, I'm sure, because he's eaten as much as his dad does. I think I had one came unrolled, and that's why I was having to fix it over there. We tend to, if we have leftovers that can go into a tortilla, we make quesadillas or flautas. And days that we don't have things that'll go in a tortilla, I make a lot of grilled cheese sandwiches. They tell me that I make the best grilled cheese sandwiches ever, which I don't really believe, but it gets me to make more grilled cheese sandwiches, so I'm sure that that's their plan. After the other tortilla came unrolled, you'll see what I do here is put a little bit of beans onto the top of it to help act as glue. That way when I start rolling, it's going to hold it together a little bit better, and then I give it a little pinch. I usually do that, and I just forgot on the others. What you can't see as I'm backing up is there's a bulldog right there just waiting for me to drop something. He's always hopeful that I'm going to make a mess and he's going to get to clean it up. So I'm closing up the lid and setting the timer for 5 minutes. And then I let it go. Cleaning up my mess before I get the food back out. Mixing it up and seeing how much I've got, if there's enough for another day. And I think there was. I think I did the same thing for lunch the next day as well. My grandson offered to put things away for me, and I took advantage of it because he doesn't offer that often. Okay, so now they're done. The timer's gone off, which means everyone ran to the kitchen because they're hungry. There's Archer. We're getting close to nap time, so we do lunch, and then right after lunch we take a nap. Give it a little squirt of sour cream into the bowl, and a little bit of salsa.
That's going to be good.
Yogurt. Yogurt.
Nope, sour cream. He can see himself on the camera, so he's being cute. I know it looks like he's really close to that sharp knife, but I promise he's not. So don't anybody come after me saying that I was putting my grandkids in danger. So that is what a typical plate looks like. The little guys will each just get one. And if I remember right, they didn't finish all of it. So then we went into my
look at
room,
the sweet baby.
and we snuggled.
Oh, sweet baby. You see that, sweet baby?
I'm tired.
You see that, sweet? Are you tired? Are you a tired baby?
Tired.
Yeah, you're tired, baby. Colin. Yeah? You're tired? What about you, Colin? Are you tired?
No.
I think you should be. It's time.
No. You're tired. I don't know.
You don't know? Je ne sais pas?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Santa.
Je ne sais pas.
We gonna call that.
There you go. Are you winking?
Baby, baby. This is a baby.
Lightning McQueen. Yep, we can see Lightning McQueen on there.
Right.
I recorded this audio once, and then after I uploaded it, for some reason the audio wasn't playing for this section, so I'm re-recording. This is an average day, almost every day after I get the boys down for their nap. I work on samples for upcoming classes that I'm going to teach, and I teach art at a couple of different senior centers. At one point, a few years ago, I was up to 7 different senior centers, but I've cut way back since the third grandbaby was born because I just can't keep up with everything. But I teach art. One center I go to every single Wednesday, and the other one I'm there on Tuesdays. I do it free of charge. I don't charge anything for my time. It's all volunteer. But I take donations. Some people donate actual craft supplies when their loved one passes away and they're cleaning out a craft room or something. And some people donate money. I have a Cashap account, and then the money helps to pay for supplies and helps pay for my gas for me to go. So I'm not really getting anything for my time, but I enjoy it, and the ladies that are in my classes seem to really enjoy it. This particular class I'm getting ready for is card making, and it is my most popular because pretty much all seniors need cards for grandkids and thank you notes and things like that. So this cute little card will turn out to be a basket. And I think we're doing birthday cards for this upcoming week. I have a big event. I do an all-day workshop on the first Saturday in October every single year because that's International Card Making Day. So I'll be planning for that workshop coming up. But I have a pretty good turnout. I have usually my regular class is 16 on Wednesdays and 5 on Tuesdays. And then my workshop is usually 30 people. So I try and prep as much beforehand so that I'm helping them to get their projects done quicker. On this particular video, I did all of my cutting with that die cutting machine you see right behind my work area there. I pre-cut all the pieces, so right now all I'm doing is stamping them, and then I'll be assembling them to make the card. I use this hinged stamping device because you may remember in the old days when stamps came on wooden blocks and they took up a lot of room and they were hard for people with disabilities to be able to hold on to them. But with these stamp trays that I use, when I go into senior centers or nursing homes, sometimes I have people that have Parkinson's or have other disabilities, and so this helps them be able to maneuver them without worrying about shaking or accidentally dropping or messing it up. I tell people in all of my classes that I'm not an expert artist, and I'm certainly not an expert card maker, but I'm an expert boo-boo fixer, because anything that you can do wrong, I've done it at least once, and I know how to fix it. And then I show them my hands, and I assure them that if I can do it with these hands, then anybody can make these projects. I have to be a little bit honest right here. My hands have been this way since I was a teenager, and I didn't really notice that they were that bad until I looked at the first video I made for this channel. When I looked down, I mean, they just looked like hands to me. It wasn't until I saw them on the video and chopping and doing things that I realized how deformed my hands have gotten over the years. It's kind of like looking in a mirror and you don't realize how fat you've gotten until you see a picture. Pictures always seem to bring those things out, and I think anytime I've been in pictures, I guess I haven't had my hands out on display. I've had them in my lap or something. Right here I'm using a little pokey tool because there were some little holes there that the die cut machine didn't get all the way through. And those holes will be necessary whenever I go to put the handles onto the basket. Another little hole there that I got to pop out. That one's not as important. I probably could have left it in, but that's the little card part that will slide down inside the basket when it's all done. I am sort of working on another YouTube channel, and actually I've had the channel for a while. I've just never uploaded anything to it. But the name of my classes that I teach is called debsarttherapy, and that's the name of the YouTube channel as well, and the Cashap account. So I'm thinking about doing videos of all of my projects that I do in classes and uploading them to that YouTube channel. That way my students could even go back and re-see the instructions or how we made particular cards. So once I've mastered the camera and figuring out how to get better angles, I'll probably start uploading to that channel as well. Right now, as I watch this, I'm thinking that probably if I had a camera up above looking down, it might get better pictures where my hands and my arms aren't getting in the way as much. Maybe. This right here, I'm holding it still, and then I'm going to find one of my clamps and be able to clamp it down. while it dries a little bit more. I'm not using Elmer's glue. This is a special glue that doesn't have as much moisture content to it, so it sticks faster and dries faster. I buy it in a great big bottle, and then I use a little funnel to refill my little bitty bottles with the needle points so that I can get a finer layer on it without it all gushing everywhere. It's Art Institute glue is the name of it. So I'm looking for another clamp because I'm getting ready to make a bow, and I know that the bow is going to have a clamp to help it hold while it dries. Using my fingers to kind of curve the loops of the bow a little bit before I glue it all down. So I fold one loop and fold the other loop, and then put the clamp on it to let it dry. And while that's setting over to the side drying, then I will assemble the basket, put the handles on the basket. I'm always surprise people when I use the little bitty brads, which I'm fixing to use to put these handles on. But again, I'm telling you, if I can do it with these hands, then anybody can do the projects that I make. And for a second here, my brain is not functioning. I start to put it in from the back. And then I remember that that's not right. And you'll see me shake my head, no. Don't do that. Goes in from the front. And then the little brad pieces get sprayed out on the back. I got this nifty little pokey tool from, I think it's a dental tool actually that somebody gave me. But it works because it's got a long enough handle for me to be able to hang on to it. And I can use it to get between those two little brad pieces to push them out. So I line that up and had to find another brad because my first brad broke on me. And we got better light now because my camera quit working and I had to wait a little bit and charge it. And then I realized that it had a light on it that I could turn on. I splurged and bought myself a GoPro, but now I'm having to learn how to use a GoPro. And it's not like a regular camera. So I put the clamps on it while that dries, and then I'll finish making the little tails on my bow. It kind of wraps around from underneath and then over the front of it. And then I'll put a clamp on that while it finishes drying. I have a whole bunch of these clamps. They're kind of stuck here and there all over my table. Okay, and so it's all dry. Move my little handles down. And then I'll stick the little card on the inside and glue the bow to the front side. So the bow and the little basket liners can be any color. So, I mean, it could also be patriotic if I had wanted to do red on it and put a patriotic message on the inside. So there you have it.